Hey guys, welcome back to Container Crops, the Scaredy Cat Gardener. Today, we're going to go over 12 mistakes for food storage in our prepper's pantry. I am hearing so many people talk about what they're doing, and when it all boils down, they may not have anything in their pantry if they don't store it right. And the mistakes that they can avoid to help them have a really good prepper's pantry.
Show off your fantasy reality, whoa, that's yours, but I'll keep doing mine. You'll be living your good life, catch a glimpse from the outside all the time.
Okay guys, we are back. If you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Before we get started, take a second and subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell so you won't miss anything. Give the video a thumbs up and do me a big favor, share the video out. I'm sure there's someone else that you may know that is prepping and maybe they're making some of these mistakes. And I also want to say that these mistakes are not all inclusive. There are 1,000 mistakes that we can make, but some of these mistakes, especially if you're new and you're just getting started with your pantry, you want to be able to avoid them. So I want to go over a few that I feel are really important. Okay guys, let's dive right into it. Now, I do want to say that my entire list is not all inclusive. There's 1,000 more things out there that can be made, that mistakes can be made on. These are just some things that I find important to myself, so I thought I'd share them with you. And they're not necessarily in this order, but number one on my list today is buying random food. Just because you go in the store and you see something on sale does not mean that you need to buy it. If it's something that you have never tried before, something that your family may not like, just because it's on sale, just to say you have food in your pantry, that's not what you want to do. You don't want to buy random food. On sale or not, a deal is not a deal if you can't use it. Okay, number two on my list is buying large quantities of food that you don't have a clue what it tastes like. Just because Sally said that freeze-dried chicken Alfredo is delicious doesn't mean anyone in your family is going to like it. Don't buy large, huge quantities of food just because it's on sale. You need to make sure you're buying what your family is going to eat. Not just because it's on sale, not because I say, oh my God, I love this. You may not. So don't buy huge quantities. If it's something new in the store, you want to try it out, buy one, take it home, go ahead, cook it, prepare it, see if you like it. If you do, while it's on sale, go back and get that large quantity. Now, I touched on number 3 and number 2, but I do want to say, don't buy food just because it's on sale. I know prices are higher right now. I know it's hard to get a lot of the things that we may need and or want, but do not by any means buy food just because it's a deal if you're not going to use it. You're wasting money, you're wasting prepper space in your food storage pantry, you are wasting time, and you're keeping someone else from being able to get something and eat something that maybe they would like to have. Number 4, not having a variety. Don't go out and buy 1,000 bags of beans or rice or any canned good or anything and you don't have a variety. You need to make sure, I mean, if rice or beans is a main staple in your family and you guys eat it a lot and you prepare it in a lot of different ways, then that's good, that's fine. But make sure you still have a variety. Nobody wants to eat beans every day. Nobody wants to eat rice every day. So make sure you're stockpiling a variety of foods. Number 5 on the list, buying way too many frozen foods or using your freezer as a means of storage space. It is absolutely amazing to have a freezer full of foods, but if you lose power, unless you know for sure you have great backup source, you don't want to lose all of your food. And a lot of our pantry and prepping that we're doing for survival, but sometimes a lot of it is short term. A storm will come about and it'll blow out the power, a tornado, and you're out for maybe a day, 2 days, or a week or something. And it's not years, it's not months. A lot of natural disasters happen. I mean, it could be something as a windstorm and a tree falls down and tears down your power lines, and you're out of power for a week until they can clean up the mess. And it's not an overall disaster. Your pantry should be for short term and long term. You have to think in terms of, you know, I want to be secure. What if someone just gets ill in your family and you can't go out and get anything? What if something major happens at a store that's near you and you have to go a few miles to get to a store and you can't get to the store for a while? So you want to make sure you have those things too. And you don't want to depend on one source like just your freezer to store foods, because if that power goes out, and what happens if something happens to your backup? You need a backup to a backup. Number 6 on my list, another big mistake that people make is storing foods that are too hard to cook. On my cooking channel, I cook nothing but scratch cakes, but I am not going to store up all the ingredients for scratch cakes. Now, if I have some ingredients and I can make a cake from scratch in a disaster, I'll do so. But because you can cook a cake outside as well as you can cook a cake inside in your oven. But, you know, a box cake from the store, if you just need to have that cake, a box cake from the store, the expiration date is going to be out about almost 2 years. So I'm not going to store anything for long term. I'm also going to find things that I can cook, like breads that are quick breads that only need a couple of ingredients and they cook quick. I don't need the yeast and the rise and all that. So don't store up things that's going to take either they're hard to cook or they take a lot of preparation to make. Okay, we're down to number 7. I see a lot of people forgetting about their spices and condiments. Spices and condiments, if stored properly, they will last amazing amounts of years. Some of them will almost last forever. They have huge shelf life. And guess what? Your food will not be bland. If you need some soup and you've got different spices and things, you can also take the same ingredients and make a whole new dish with a whole new set of spices. You can take chicken noodle soup and turn it into something completely different with all the same ingredients. Your chicken, your noodle, your carrots, your celery, your onions. And with the right spices, it's not going to taste like chicken noodle soup. It'll taste a whole different dish and it'll be amazing. But you need to make sure you keep and store your condiments and your spices and herbs. Okay, number 8. You need to make sure that you're labeling your everything. Everything that's in your pantry should be labeled. Yes, it's going to have an expiration date on it in the store, but that can fade. You need to get a heavy-duty marker and some good labels, and you need to personally label yourself, because you also need to know when it went into your pantry and its expiration date. You need to have those things on there. It needs to be clearly marked. And number 9 is one of my, I guess, pet peeves, or one that I think is really important, and that's not storing the food properly. You can go to the store and buy bags of rice, bags of beans, and they may be out. Their expiration date may be out by a couple of years, maybe. I mean, I don't know the actual dates, but it could be a couple of years. But that's in the package from the store. If you come home and repackage it properly, it can last a long time. Rice, for an example, it typically has at least a year to 2 years out on most bags of rice, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on the rice itself. But if you come home and you put that rice in an airtight food grade container that is completely sealed, put a couple of bay leaves in it, you've got that rice for about 10 or 15 years, maybe even more. So you need to make sure that you have the proper airtight containers, food grade containers, Mylar bags, whatever it is that you choose to use, and repackage. Don't forget to label them when you repackage them. Number 10, then storing the food in the wrong place inside of your own home. Don't store it in places that may have moisture coming in or the temperature varies. it's hot today, it's cold tomorrow, or whatever. A lot of people have basements and they're storing things in their basements, but you better check your basement to make sure this doesn't have a certain moisture level, as well as is it super hot in the summer down there, and is it super cold in the winter? Is there any air leaks down there? You need to check wherever your pantry is to make sure that it's climate controlled, temperature controlled, but naturally. Just a place that's, you know, not going to fluctuate in the temperature and you don't have a lot of moisture. Oh, number 11. And for those of you all who are just beginning your pantries and storage and things like that, do know you must rotate your food. So you can't buy all this food, close the door, and walk away. This is an ongoing process. It's a never-ending process. It's a lifestyle. So get used to it if you want to be prepared. You have to rotate your food. That's why even in grocery stores, if you ever watch people coming in and stocking the shelves, besides just the regular employees and them too, but you know, someone from maybe Pepsi or something, they will pull the things that are already on the shelf that are not expired to the front. And they put their new inventory to the back because they're doing what I'm saying. They're rotating it. They want to make sure the things that will expire quicker are at the front so that we can buy them. So that's another hint for you. If you want to get something long term and you're in the store, and whether it's a canned good or whatever, reach to the back. Check that date. I do it all the time, especially on milk and things like that. Reach to the back because that's the one that's going to expire the furthest out. Okay, number 12, last but not least, you need to have a detailed inventory list. A sheet of paper, people, a sheet of paper. On this list, you can design your list however that suits you best, but I would suggest making sure you have the item, how many you have, the date you brought it into your pantry, the date it expires, and then a little notes section. And in that little notes section, it is an absolutely fantabulous idea to write down 3 or 4 dishes that you can make with that item, and then make sure you have the ingredients to make that dish. The reason you want to have these little side notes about what you can make is because depending on why you are in your pantry and using this food, if it's not just because it's time to rotate it out and it's time to use it, but something has happened, it has hit the fan and it is going on. Sometimes we get a little nervous, we get a little frayed, and our thought process is not on point. So, you know, man, I made spaghetti yesterday, but I got all these noodles. What am I going to do with them? And you just can't think what to do with them. So if you have your little sidebar notes with 3 or 4 dishes for every item, main item, like rice. Okay, I can boil the rice and put some butter on it. I can boil the rice and put some gravy on it, but that's going to get boring really quick. So what other dishes, complete dishes, that I can make with this rice? And if you have something that's maybe a huge staple, you may want to have a separate list of items with what you can make with those items. So if you get in a pinch, then you can just refer to that. It's no sense in using your brain power when you don't have to, trying to think of that. And another thing that your inventory list will do, if something happens and you're the main prepper as far as your food storage is concerned in your home, you're the one that's going to the store, you're the one that's buying the stuff, you're the one that's storing the stuff, you're the one that knows everything. When you have these detailed lists, somebody else can step in at a moment's notice and handle your business, and that's by far important. Okay guys, so we are done for today. I hope that this short list helps someone somewhere with their pantry in avoiding some of these mistakes. And there are many more mistakes you can make, but like I said in the beginning, these are some that I think are very important, and that's why I wanted to mention them to you today. So don't forget to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, give the video a thumbs up and share it out. I really would appreciate that. Okay, guys, until next time, remember, in time of peace, prepare for war.
You'll be living your good life. Catch a glimpse from the outside all the time.